Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape! Planet where apes evolved from men.
The only good human is a dead human!
Apes! Do not want war!
God damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Alright everyone, it's day 5 of Talking Apes. We have actually already gotten to the end of the classic series of the Planet of the Apes franchise. Dylan McCandless, Super DM64, joining me as always.
Well, the end of the classic series as far as cinema is concerned. Of course, after this, the franchise would continue in televised form for a very brief period of time. But this is
three people watched it.
Yeah, this is pretty much the end of the road. Yeah, and all three of those people contributed stories to Tales from the Forbidden Zone. But this is the end of the road.
Oh, it's a great avail. Thank you.
This is the end of the road as far as the original continuity that was started in 1968 goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is noted for that, and for practically nothing else.
And this is the end of the box set. That as well. I mean, that's another important milestone. So the idea here was to wrap it all up, wasn't it? Was to go, all right, we've done a lot with this whole Planet of the Apes thing, haven't we? So maybe we should wrap that up.
We've been there, we've been beneath it, we've escaped from it, we've conquered it.
What's left? Well, I mean, I guess we can battle for it. There you go.
Well done.
Thanks, Paul. You're always helpful. That's Paul Dane right there. It's my boy.
I'm waiting for them to run out of ideas and make Above the Planet of the Apes, where it takes place in orbit and around.
It's about a bunch of people who have fucking set up shop on a space station. That's actually not bad.
And they escape the destruction of the human race by becoming space. Ooh.
Oh, moon men. Moon men on the Planet of the Apes. Apes on the moon of the men. So yeah, they're gonna battle for the Planet of the Apes in this one, and I mean, I guess that's cool. So Dylan, this one is another milestone because it's sort of regarded as the worst in the franchise, isn't it? It's sort of the Godzilla's revenge of apedom, isn't it?
Well, Fox in its, and we've talked about this throughout the other commentaries as well. Fox in its infinite wisdom continuously reduced the budgets on these movies as time went on, and so by the time you get to battle, you're pretty much fucked.
Right.
There's no money.
We had no money. That's literally what the director says and sounds like in the Behind the Planet of the Apes featurette.
We had no money, so what we had to do was sort of film from different angles and make it seem as though there was a large battle taking place.
By using 5 men in monkey suits over and over again, which is literally, if you look close enough.
Yeah.
But it's
this is an incredibly cheap movie.
This is a bad movie that's made into an okay movie because of who made it. That's kind of how I feel about it. Because I don't think this is that bad.
This is probably the lowest budget in the entire franchise, isn't it?
I would assume so. I would assume they didn't increase the budget here all of a sudden. They're like, oh, you guys can have a few more bucks now.
Yeah, no,
we made you film at that fucking construction site last time, but now we've really got the mojo.
Usually one might think of, when they think of a battle for the Planet of the Apes, they might think of tanks and artillery and Woody Harrelson. But
here we have one tank.
Here we have a school bus. So
there's a school bus, that's right. Oh, yeah, there's no tank, they have jeeps with cannons in the back.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's like some destroyed tanks in the background. That's what I was thinking of.
Imagine if they tried to imprison Virgil in the school bus and then he turned it over on a bunch of other apes.
Ape just killed a bunch of ape.
Yeah, this is...
What were you going to say?
It kind of reminds me of Beneath in a way, in that some of the decisions...
Beneath is so much better, though, you dumb whore. Shut your stupid face. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, I think Beneath is the fourth best film of the original 5, and I think this is the 5th best.
Okay.
But
you're a madman, but all right.
But
No, you're not a madman. I'm just trying to
Crazy,
defend
like-
my blind love of Beneath.
crazy like a fox. No, but so what was I saying? Shit. Oh, yeah, it's similar to Leaf in that it doesn't feel very organic as a sequel to Conquest. A lot of they make some leaps here. I think there are some introductions of some characters. There's one character who's a previous character's brother for no apparent reason.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have to talk about McDonald too.
We kind of get the mutants. We get an orangutan character who was not there for the last movie, but maybe my favorite addition to this movie.
He's probably the best thing about this movie. Because Caesar is a little weird.
In this movie, yeah. And of course we get Ursus's retarded cousin Aldo as their villain.
The prophesized actual leader of the ape revolution by Cornelius in Escape. This movie demanding guns because they should have guns and they want to ride horses and they don't want to learn. They just want to ride horses.
Where did they get the horses?
Who knows, D? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out if we rewatch it. So, I mean, do you like it?
Do I like it?
At all?
I don't think there's a single Planet of the Apes movie that I really hate, to be honest. So
yeah,
by
I think
default,
that's the way to look at it. I mean, I don't think it's the worst Planet of the Apes movie. I think that distinction belongs to 2001. I think this is definitely better than that.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I think the problems with this are definitely the budget. That mostly is the thing holding it back from being really interesting. But also, they really cut back the script because they wanted to keep it for kids. They didn't want to make it too dark. And like the last movie, they wanted it to have more of an optimistic kind of ending. So,
I feel like maybe they get a little scared by how dark they went the last time, and then chickened out.
How dark they could have gone.
Well, they chickened out at the end, but most of that movie is still pretty bleak in comparison to the rest of the series up to that point.
Certainly. This movie was supposed to be... We'll talk about it, but it was supposed to be a lot bleaker. They decided not to. They rewrote things. Paul Dane was not happy, but he did it anyway. So, we'll talk about all of that and more as we get into things that you've presumably had the time to get the DVD out and everything. So we can actually start this thing. So, Dylan, are you ready to talk some apes?
I suppose I am.
All right, well, supposing is good enough, I guess. So, suppose along with us and press play for Battle for the Planet of the Apes in 3, 2, 1, play. I gotta turn this shit down. All right, there we go.
I see trees.
This is definitely the worst, shot they used. Oh, wow, 2670. All right, so that's before the first movie. Does that line up? This is the lawgiver speaking, obviously.
Yeah, this is over 1,000 years before the first movie.
Is it?
Yeah,
3950 something. That's right. Yeah. All right, see, that
3955 and beneath 3978 in the first one. So, bit of a distinction.
Bit of a hoo-ha. What do you think of the lawgiver here? This is obviously a big moment to see that.
I forgot that the movie opened with him. I forgot that was a framing device. I thought he just came in at the end.
Because it's a complex status quo to explain. They have to be like, okay, so listen. You've seen Planet of the Apes, right? Well, we did another one where Cornelius and Zero went back in time. They fucked. They had a kid. The kid grew up, took over the world, and now we're living in that world. So that's where we're at. I do believe this is the first movie to open with stock footage from the last one. Or not the last one, from another one. No, they actually all do. I think. Except for 3.
Your Precious Beneath opened with stock footage.
It does. Yeah, but that naturally leads right into what's going on. This is like backstory.
Conquest doesn't open with any stock footage, although they do utilize some later on, I believe. Or at least some stock imagery of Cornelius and Zira. I don't remember.
There's some photos, yeah, sure.
And I think they play
such a brutal death. My God, it still hits me now.
They play some of the audio as well.
They do that in this movie.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I don't think they did that
do
in the last one.
Let's do a time check real quick, Bill. I'm
Yeah.
at 205, 206, 207. Oh, wait.
You're ahead of me. I'm
I am?
at 205. Oh, I just jumped ahead, though. That was weird. All right, I'm paused at 211.
Okay, I'm at 218.
All right, I'll let you know when I'm there.
So get on my level.
Mine keeps pausing. It's really annoying. All right. I'm at 218, stock footage from Conquest. No!
Yes.
Cool. Black men. Let's press play. In 3, 2, 1. End of play. All right, we're back in. What is this? Like, what is this room? Like, what is this for? Like, all right, we're going to put the monkeys in chains and we're going to beat them up. Like, that's what the room's for. Put the pillars up, it's great. All right, this is the disco room. This is where the monkeys are going to do disco, and this is the fire room. This is where we scare the shit out of them with fire.
I think this is where they just beat the shit out of apes and administer shock treatment in order to make them compliant.
This is the hay room. There's hay in here.
I forgot just how much
That is
stock
all.
footage. You know what? I forgot how much stock footage was in this movie. Maybe it's because, and we meant to mention this before, the DVD is the extended cut of the film.
Oh, fuck, we didn't mention that. If you're not watching the extended cut, you're fucked. You probably are. I would imagine that if they're forcing us to watch it on this DVD, they probably force everybody to watch it in whatever version they get, right?
I guess.
But
anyway,
make sure.
It's been a long time since I've watched this movie.
Yeah, it's been quite some time for me as well.
This is probably the one that I revisit the least.
Yeah, me too.
And I forgot just how much of this opening was stock footage. Well,
Too much, I would say. I saw the last movie. This is like the Rocky movies. They all also open with stock footage.
We're like 4 minutes in almost, and it's been mostly stock footage up to this point.
Yeah, Rocky's like that as well. It's like they show the entire last fight. We have seen the birth of the planet. Where was I going with this? Caesar just fucking peters out. So this is where he fills in where the stock footage and budget don't line up.
Thank you for reading us the plot of the last two movies. Ape Jesus, that was very helpful.
So you didn't answer my question before. What do you think of the lawgiver here?
I think he's fine. I think they picked a good actor.
He doesn't. I mean, it's a different version of him than what we're familiar with, at least as far as we know.
Indeed.
So it's kind of hard to say.
He's
but
got a good voice for the role.
Yes, I would say aesthetically, and I guess personality-wise, and just sort of aura-wise, totally works as the lawgiver. But you know, he's a nice man, isn't he? Or a nice ape. The lawgiver was a vengeful god. So how come we know the year when the lawgiver was talking bullshit, but we don't know the year that the movie is happening?
Yeah, I almost thought that we had a huge problem there for a minute because, again, I forgot that this movie opened with the lawgiver, and so I was expecting Caesar to stroll out or something, and I was like, 2690, that's way too long.
Just walks out like, we're way too far into the future, Virgil. Where are all the horses?
I have to go even further in the future if we're going to stop Ursus from using the bomb. No. Oh, it's John Huston, isn't it? Or Houston. I don't know. Is it pronounced Houston? It's a U.
I don't know. I feel like I should, though. So while a vague gorilla is riding in the distance here, I want to talk about the Paul Williams. Wow, he was a musician. Forgot about that. I want to talk about what this movie was originally supposed to be. You know, Paul Danes wrote it, and as we're going to see soon. And he originally intended a much darker story, as he did in the previous film as well. This was supposed to line up better as a go-between Caesar's story and the original series, the original movie. More aptly, the tying between the past and the future. This movie, the reason why I like this movie as much as I do is because I feel like it fills a need that we had to see the connect between the past and the future, or at least see the starts of it, which is what this movie does. It starts to connect things,
We can argue about how well it connects things, but it does certainly.
The fact that they're already in the outfits is weird. I presume that's because Caesar knows what they're supposed to be like,
Ape fashion doesn't seem to change much over time, does it?
No, but it's starting here, so...
If anything, they should still be wearing those jumpsuits from the last movie.
Yeah, well, I'm saying they shouldn't have the anything like what they have in the original movie yet, but they do. I like the treehouse design. That's great. I like that I like that they're not just in the architecture from the first movie, because they probably didn't have the budget for that anyway.
No, yeah. It's a bit more primitive, a bit more Ewok village.
So Paul Dane's original idea obviously was that Caesar was going to cut out all of the humans' larynx so they couldn't speak. Although he would still keep them like this as sort of slaves, or just kind of indentured servants, people around to do busy work. How would you have felt if they would have gone that direction?
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, no, I think it's not really... This movie, that would not have worked. But if they were going to write it more to line up with the original, it would have worked fine. This is a good moment. I like that all those, I'm just going to show off here. He's a very aggressive young man, isn't he? I like that they're all adults still learning, English and everything, and they're all still going through their education, because they would be. I mean, this is probably at most 10 years after Conquest?
Something like that, yeah.
This guy should be Liam Neeson. I don't know why he's not.
Shall Abe ever kill Abe? I mean, man.
Yep, that was a good villain in Doctor Who. I agree. Cornelius. Thanks for the exposition, Liam Neeson. You're a good buddy. So they obviously cut the whole cutting out human layering things because they wanted it to be more family friendly, and they didn't want to go the route of just setting up the original movie. They wanted to go the route of this would be a different timeline with a more optimistic, kind of ending. Oh, we have a Protozoas there on the right. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Yeah, Virgil's definitely the best character in this because he's so delightful.
He is very delightful.
So far, I'm liking Aldo better than I remember. That's very creepy in a sort of charming way.
Look at the look on the kid's fucking face.
Ape shall never kill Abe. I'll make sure of it. I'll kill them all.
Well, Aldo, apart from also writing Abe instead of ape on the second line, you also seem to have forgotten the word never.
Oh, you crossed that out here. Where'd you get this red marker? It's not a marker.
It just makes sense to keep humans speaking as a way of teaching your own apes to speak English. That's a nice...
The makeup on him is really, really good. Oh, shit.
Aldo or
Fucked up.
Virgil? I think you're behind me again.
I probably am. My thing keeps skipping.
It's weird.
I'll let you pause somewhere, and I'll let you know when I get there.
Okay. I'm at 12:55.
Wow, I was so far behind you. I'll let you know when I'm there. I'm there. Let's press play. In 3, 2, 1, play. You see, there's a lot... Again, this is another... This stuff... There's always something going on in these movies, you know? There's never... These movies are never boring, I don't think. This one gets there. I remember.
Yeah.
This one gets there. But, right now, I'm not bored.
I think maybe somebody who isn't as used to us to classical film pacing might look back at these movies and be bored, but for my money, they're all pretty entertaining.
I would like to know...
He should have been teaching them. He should have been teaching them differently all along. If I had been this man, I would have been teaching them Ape shall never kill Abe from day one. You know what I'm saying?
I would have been like, Ape shall never, not be happy and trying to kill man. Pfft, what a klutz. Stop. Sorry if we're not talking enough in this commentary, but we're trying to watch the movie, and it's making it hard to constantly have stuff to say. But so the whole idea here is that we've got this very tumultuous relationship between Caesar and Aldo. I don't think it's developed nearly enough, though.
Dude, this man's even more obsessed with horses than Cornelius was.
Yeah, definitely. This guy makes Cornelius look like a guy who doesn't like horses, by comparison.
I don't want to do stupid riding exercises. I want to ride horses. But where did we get the horses?
This kid is a fucking serial killer. I don't like him. I'm glad he's dead. And that when we get to that story in the Tales from the Forbidden Zone book, He has a different son who's 10 times cooler.
He has a different son, a better son.
I mean, a son who, totally does something 10 times more fucked up, but still better.
A far more interesting and dashing and sexy son than
one who we've never seen, as opposed to this child, this ape child.
It's true. Apes and children, not sexy. It's like they don't even try.
I just think Caesar looks like kind of a joke in this movie. Because he allows Aldo to be a thing, and I don't think he would. Not without good reason. Maybe there is some kind of authority that Aldo holds that we don't know over the gorillas and over the other apes, but it doesn't seem so. It seems like Caesar has pretty unquestioned authority throughout the entire movie, because at the end, at the end it's a different story once everybody's realized what Aldo's done, but even still, like, everybody's on his side pretty much, so. But again, I want to know if there are other ape cities out there. Everything I've read around this seems to indicate no, or at least they're not all connected, but I'd still like to know. You'd think Caesar would. He's got more forethought and kind of an awareness than obviously your average ape would. So you would assume that he'd go, I wonder if there are other people out there. Oh, so you wanted to talk about how this is not the real McDonald from the last movie. This is a slightly less black one.
Yes, I'm assuming that since they couldn't get the same actor, they decided that it was a different character, which they could have just roadied it and had him be the same McDonald. I only recently realized that they had done that.
Yeah, same. To be fair, But he doesn't look anything. He only looks like him in very vague ways. Totally different skin tone, totally different face.
By very vague ways, you mean that they're both black.
Hair's the same. Shape of the head. That's about it. Height.
Wait, does this movie actually make a point that he's the other McDonald's brother, or is that just a detail?
Yeah, he mentions, because Caesar's like, your brother was a cherished friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was starting to think, wait, maybe the author of that one story just added that as an explanation for why there was a different actor.
This is part of the problem with this movie. This is a terrible precipice for, like, something to happen. Like, Caesar is a fucking idiot. If they really wanted to make him go to look for, like, remnants of his parents' like message or whatever, pick a better reason than just what's going on here. Like, this is so random, don't you think? Although I guess he's desperately trying to reconcile the relationship between the humans and the apes. So another thing that we mentioned up front about this movie is that Caesar is a lot less angry and sort of maladjusted as he was in the last movie. He's a lot more like Cornelius in this movie. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a natural progression, or do you think that they just kind of went, he's a different character now because people thought he was a dick?
Yeah.
Well, which side of that do you fall on?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So, Caesar
I got a little rep in the movie. Yeah.
Caesar in this movie. Well, we're trying to do a commentary here, son. So divert your attention. If you can't, we're gonna have to stop recording and just watch the movie. There's a school of thought that Caesar is a kind of a different character in this because he's a lot less like vigilant. He's kind of a doughy-eyed, like peace-loving hippie, as opposed to a blood-seeking revolutionary. Do you think that that's a natural progression, or do you think that that's just them going, all right, he's this now?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think the studio did that because they felt that they had gone too dark on the last film. But at the same time, I think the way it's presented, it's plausible. I think he's been around long enough.
Oh, he's nuts for his squirrel.
He's been around long enough now. He's seen some shit, and now he's mellowed out considerably.
Yeah, I think that the only thing I don't fully understand maybe is his just obsession with keeping humans around. Although he was, raised by a human, so I guess that does make some sense. I forgot that Virgil was not the weapons master. I thought that he was. There's another orangutan. Okay. I always liked this idea a lot too. This was always a really good scene, that you could isolate from a movie that's not that great.
So you like the idea that even Caesar has to practically beg permission to use a fucking gun around here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not a good political thing. It's not something that you should take into practice, but it makes sense, especially for this hippy-dippy version of Caesar. It definitely makes sense. And it lines up very interestingly with the original in the sense of, the gorillas are the only ones that do anything warlike in that movie. Dr. Zaius never picks up a gun. When Cornelius does, it's weird. He doesn't really seem comfortable with it. Same thing with his nephew. So I really like this idea that apes are kind of naturally against violence, but it ultimately ends up to kind of be to be problematic for them. See, I like the practicality of it. 3 submachine guns for the removal of obstacles. It's like a fucking customer service gig. It's like, all right, can I throw in some napkins with that? I like that line, to remove smaller objects. I love this dude. And by dude, I mean ape. Did Caesar just say, when I was a boy, he was my teacher? I'm like...
No,
Oh, I was gonna say, because, what?
Even still, I'm not sure that the timeline that up on that.
Well, he's an older orangutan. Virgil's probably younger than Caesar is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I would say Virgil's probably 5 or 6 years younger than Caesar.
Although he does have grandchildren by the time that short story rolls around. And Tales from the...
Yeah, but remember, he's got, the leg up of, his son didn't get murdered by a psychopath, so... You remember Caesar had to start over. He had to lay one in the oven, and again, he had to take 2.
This is very reminiscent of Taylor and the other 2 astronauts crossing the desert at the first.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I like the imagery of all this. For the budget, it's pretty good. But see, I don't think the motivation of why we're here is good enough. I don't understand it enough. You know?
Well, the practical implication is that they can find out what the future is supposed to be like because of the information that was disclosed by Cornelius and Zero on the tapes. But the more personal reason is that Caesar wants to see what they look like and hear their voices.
Right, no, I get that, but it's a long way to go. It's very dangerous, obviously. I think there just could have been a better reason.
Such as?
Well, now you've put me on the spot. Why do I have to write this movie now? There's a plague, or the plague that killed dogs and cats returns, and they.
Well, since none of these characters are dogs or cats, they have to be
No, all
based
right.
on-
Well, maybe they're struggling in the post nuclear bomb wasteland. You know, and Caesar wants to find out how apes survived into the future beyond that. Maybe it could be that simple, but you need to have that kind of. It needs to be worded like that. The way it seems here, it's like, well, things aren't great. Why don't we go out into the desert? The street being named Breck is a good reference. I would definitely say, if you're going to make the analogy of like Conquest being the original movie and this being Beneath, that totally works quality and story-wise. Oh, God. Now we're in the Terminator. Somebody's going to be chasing around a rat, watching fire on a TV.
Where's Gary Oldman when you need him?
Oh, that's another good point, is that this was some elements of Dawn are inspired by this.
Yes, and I think there are also elements of this carrying over into the next film.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of broke it up. Because the battle in Dawn is more... It doesn't have the grand scale implications that the one in this movie does.
No, it is far more impressive, though, interestingly.
Well, it looks cooler. Had a bigger budget. I like the sort of like beginnings of the. They don't have the masks yet. The mutations are more kind of vague. The mutants are, like, weird, and I like it. I like the fact that they have to speak out loud. It makes them seem more real, you know? They're not they haven't reached that epitome of, like, higher learning yet, you know?
Well, they also haven't developed psychic powers.
Well, that's
yet.
what I'm saying, yeah. This is not... They're not there yet. Right now, they're just ugly and angry. Mendez won.
Hurry up, Mendez.
Hey guys, your outfits fucking suck. You know that, right? Do they have the little hats on because there's mutated bits under there?
Perhaps.
Maybe they just find them aesthetically pleasing.
It is a shame that the nuclear bomb wiped out every store except for Hot Topic.
Well, at least we can get our spiky belts.
Or no, Wilson's leather. That would have been a better. Damn it.
Spencer's.
Well, that wouldn't have been unfortunate at all, huh?
I do like that he instantly recognizes him. I guess that makes sense. I assume everybody in the world would know who Caesar is.
It's odd that... I'm not sure who's in control here. Is Mendez the top dog or is Culp the top dog?
I think Culp is in command, and Mendez is like just I'm a figurehead. I think that was the way it was explained in that short story. Excuse me.
Well, what I think it is that Mendez takes power after Culp
Yeah.
goes off the deep end.
I like that line. Not recognizably. See, there you go. The black man. I like that Culp is like surprised and scared by this. Like he's not like, oh my Caesar. He's like, what?
I don't know the orangutan. He's far too short to be Maurice Evans.
I don't know, man. I'm rather enjoying this so far, outside of the lack of really strong motivation for us being here.
The problems with this film are not in the first act, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess we'll discuss it when we get there, you know?
There's a pretty interesting dynamic and some pretty interesting characters set up in the first portion of the film. But ultimately, the battle and just the movie overall is just so underwhelming.
Mm. The makeup on them is really good. And I guarantee to you, James Cameron saw this movie and was like, that's what the Terminator world's going to look like. Road Warrior as well, but this looks more like the underground stuff in Terminator than it does Road Warrior.
That was a great line.
What technology do you think you're using here? It's like weird, like fucking MPEGs.
Yeah, is it a video or is it a very fancy slideshow?
It seems like a slideshow with a plot, a la the Godzilla gang. Thanks. Thanks, Caesar. Yep. You know, you're the ruler of a nation, by the way. Wait, are they going to say it? Are they going to say, like, oh, it was Aldo? Because that would be weird. Caesar would be like, excuse me.
$39.55. They can't get the fucking date straight in these movies.
Also, you're not right. It wasn't the gorillas. It was Taylor.
Because it was Doomsday. Virgil, maybe you should give this speech while y'all are leaving the city that you said that you need to get out of in 2 hours or else you'll die. Because they coming for your ass.
Also, Virgil, like, chill. Nobody really cares.
Listen, Marty, when Biff went back to 1955, he created an alternate timeline.
Okay, Caesar, listen. We gotta change lanes, because if we stay in this lane, Caesar, we're gonna... Oh my god, Virgil! You just hit that guy with your car! It's alright, it's... Oh boy. Oh, he's definitely dead, you're right. Oh god, Caesar. Give him mouth to mouth.
How do we stop this, Virgil?
We must go 88 miles an hour to generate the necessary 1.21 gigawatts.
Virgil had to get out all his self-aggression.
I forgot the law. Apes shall never kill recording equipment.
I wish every single one of the Beatles had gotten the chance to be apes in Planet of the Apes. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, we've still got 2 shots. Elton John. What other musical icons can we put into Planet of the Apes?
It's a good question.
Keith Richards. He's in Pirates. Tupac. Oh, Snoop Dogg would be great as an ape. Like a pot-smoking orangutan.
Wow.
What?
With dreadlocks.
Right? It'd be like King Louie, but an orangutan. Oh no, King Louie was an orangutan. Hey guys, maybe run a little faster and stop trotting. Maybe run.
Snoop Dogg is Virgil in War for the Planet of the Apes.
Listen, Caesar. We gotta smoke a blunt, and then we're gonna smoke another blunt. And then...
Virgil, are you saying that it's possible for us to change lanes for shizzle dizzle?
Only if you smoke this blunt. This is so Terminator, don't you agree? This is just like that bit where Kyle Reese is walking down the underground, little home.
That moment where the mutants jumped out and grabbed Virgil kind of reminded me of the guy getting ambushed by the gorillas in Dawn as he's coming into the ape city.
Oh. This also reminds me of in Dawn when Malcolm is hiding from the apes and Caesar's son finds him. That's in like hallways and shit.
Kind of reminds me of like in Dawn where the 2 humans were like, let's give them some and see what happens. No.
Everything reminds me of that. I was going to say something else though. And then I totally got distracted by something in my brain and I lost it. Gosh darn it. Well, that's another similarity between the 2 movies. Dawn has Caesar having kids. This movie has Caesar having 1 kid and then losing that 1 kid. It's kind of a miracle that every member of Caesar's family made it out of Dawn.
True, yeah.
I mean, the trailers have sort of spoiled their fate in the new movie.
I was kind of expecting Blue Eyes to die, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already teased Caesar's death, so I guess they couldn't. This is a little on the nose.
There's a similar scene in the movie Mannequin.
I'll bet there is. And I'll bet that you know exactly which scene that is.
Oh, yes, there's a group of security guards being held at bay by a fire hose.
That went on way too long, though. Like, I just realized, oh, wait, that's over now? Great. This reminds me of Face Off now.
I'm gonna take his face off.
His what?
face off. Although to be fair, I don't know if this is far enough in the timeline to take a mutant's face off.
Without actually taking his actual face off.
Face Off would be so much easier to do if all the characters in that were mutants from Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Or apes.
Nick Cage is Caesar. Yes.
Nick Cage would be a great human in a Planet of the Apes movie, but he would not be a good ape because he'd be too weird.
Nah, man, I want him to be Caesar. I'm going to say I could eat a banana for hours.
You want him to be Caesar? Don't we already have a Caesar? You can recast. You can recast.
Yeah, he gets better at English, and suddenly he sounds like Nick Cage. What?
It seems like they're all speaking pretty fluently now, except Maurice. It seems like Maurice is almost deciding to stick with the sign language.
Even better, Nick Cage is Zero. I loathe bananas.
No, not the bananas.
It's a good question.
Is it? It's just... I'm not so convinced. Oh, this guy is totally like the character from the fucking story we read, because he's fighting with Culp not to go out against Caesar. Man, this is all really good. I like all this quite a bit. Alright. Stop! It's Caesar! Oh, they got out of there quickly. That's a good line. Because I fucking feel like it, you sassy bitch! I love Virgil's little scowl. He's very intimidating under all that Paul Simon hair. So, D, what other 70s musicians can we put into Planet of the Apes?
It's a good question. No names.
Maybe a Led Zeppelin? Maybe a Jimi Hendrix?
Maybe. Oh shit, it's Anakin.
This kind of is a thing that pops up again in the book that we talked about on DFOS. Oh, that's Cornelius.
All right, the playing of the guns thing, yeah.
The playing of the guns.
I suppose playing with the guns would be more accurate, although they're not really. You know what I mean.
No, Mother, I'm just dead. See, this is a good... I think the script is mostly good. Would you agree?
Do it? Sorry.
Would you agree that the script is mostly solid?
Yeah.
Again, you sound very sure. I like your confidence in your opinions. It makes me feel much more self-confident in my own. Oh, look at his little hat. Look at his little hat. He's got an adorable little hat.
I think all the elements of this film are done satisfactorily. It's just overall kind of underwhelming. Yeah.
I think all the performances are a little stilted, too. Like, Roddy McDowall seems a little, like, unsure. Like, he feels like... feels too close to Cornelius now. Like, I can't tell the difference between him and Caesar, you know? And then everybody else just kind of feels like, like McDonald's brother, not into him. How do you feel?
Him, no, not so much. I like Caesar, I like Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil's really the standout. I like the dude with the guns, he was good.
And I do like Culp as a villain.
I don't like his performance, though. I think he's like, oh my, Caesar, oh yes, we must stop him. I like Mendez. I love Mendez. He's great. And perfectly cast too. Like, he looks very close to the guy who we see in Beneath, who's obviously, like, maybe not his direct descendant, but, like, you know, he takes on his name, obviously. So
Yeah.
good visual
Well,
reference.
he certainly looks like a Mendez.
I guess if you know that type. So the mutants were like, we're gonna send 3 of the oldest middle-aged white dudes who also are pretty overweight to go spy on the apes. And
Of course.
This is a good idea because, I like that this is a vague kind of visual analogy to the Beneath, where they have the little council, and Ursus and Zaius are addressing the audience about invading the Forbidden Zone.
Aesthetically speaking, this is also pretty similar to the sort of meeting place that the apes have in Dawn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same idea. This looks very similar to that little centerpiece of Caesar's City in Dawn. Would you agree? Like the bit where the chalkboard is and where they all meet up. I think it's a little based on this. I think Aldo, I'm having a more positive reaction to Aldo upon this viewing. I also really like that the orangutans, even though this is still Caesar's era and he's in charge above all, they're above everybody else still. Like all the chimps, all the gorillas, they're down below and they're up above.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Do you think Caesar's okay with that hierarchy? He doesn't. See, the thing I'm thinking about is he has no knowledge of the future ape society until this movie, because he's heard his mother and father speak now and talk about what the future is like a little bit. But he had no idea prior. So Caesar did ultimately fuck up in this movie, because his whole point was, I'm going to go find out about the future so we can prevent it or whatever. And when he gets there, he pisses these people off, and now they're after him. And Aldo definitely has a bit of a point, and I think that's why I'm having more of like, oh, okay, I kind of like what they're doing with him, and when watching it this time. You still hate him?
Who, Aldo? Yeah. I think he starts out strongly enough, but he kind of devolves as the movie goes on until by the end he's just sort of foaming at the mouth and being like, guns, man! And then...
Oh, there's the Alpha Omega bomb. I wonder if Charlton Heston will ever be in this room.
Yeah, how this gets transformed into a cathedral by the year 3950-something is really a good question.
Oh, wow, are they already planning? This is like, hey, guys, that's Charlton Heston's job. So, Elma, do you like how phallic-looking our god is? I love it, for one. Yeah, good. Launch a world-ending nuclear missile at one particular city of monkeys who just have horses. They don't even have, like, a full arsenal of guns. They just have a house with an old man in it who won't give anybody any guns.
Yeah. Do you think they even realize how powerful that bomb is that they've got?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody ever seems to fucking understand that the Alpha Omega bomb is not like a normal nuclear weapon. It's not just going to wipe out the one target. It's going to wipe out all the targets, you know? I really like Natalie Trundy. she's underdeveloped, but she's about as never mind. I think she's more developed than Caesar's wife in the new movies, Cornelia.
Definitely. I mean, Caesar's wife was all but cut out of Rise, and
I got so mad at that at the time because I knew that I could tell that she was supposed to have a bigger role, and I was like, God damn it, these bastards.
And all she did in Dawn was give birth, pretty much. So,
and it looks like they're gonna. I mean, it's not a spoiler to talk about our theory, right? It looks like they're gonna kill her in Wharf, so
possibly
her and both kids. It looks like are probably gonna kick it big time.
Lisa certainly seems to have, or definitely has, much more of a character.
Yeah, like I also doubt that Cornelia is probably like doing much ruling with Caesar. Like it's probably all him, and then she's just kind of like. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm underestimating her, but I mean, she's been exposed to the drug as well. She was there.
I mean, but Trundy though is really good in all of these movies that she's in, especially as Stevie in Escape.
Yeah, but in these two, it's a different level of performance because she has to do it through the makeup, and she definitely portrays a different character than both Stevie and the fucking mutant she played in Beneath.
Yeah, though to be fair, I don't think she had really figured out how to do it in Conquest. I mean, she wasn't on screen that much.
I mean, she didn't do a whole lot of like real emoting. She was basically just an animal. But the parts that she did have to emote, I thought that she was quite good.
Now, whoever that female chimpanzee was that they forced Caesar to mate with, she emoted like a motherfucker. But
that was not Natalie Trundy?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation in that commentary. We do these things kind of spread apart, if you haven't noticed.
Because Lisa already had a master, as we saw early on in that film, so she wouldn't have been in. She wouldn't have been in Ape Central.
Why the fuck would he leave the cage open? The fucking idiot! Like, you have it in a cage for a reason. Like, close the thing. Otherwise, don't put it in the cage.
Also, why have a pet squirrel?
Yeah, that is a little weird. Like, they're probably, like, if you feed it, it's probably not going to go anywhere anyway. Like, that's why people don't feed squirrels, because they won't leave. And they're fucking rats with fucking bushy tails. Was that like a weird puppet squirrel, or was that a real squirrel? Because it looked like a weird, bad puppet squirrel.
I couldn't really tell.
Alright, I think this is the scene where we really go, this guy doesn't work. Because I don't think that... I don't know. You just wish he was a little smarter, don't you?
We will take guns. Apes follow Aldo now.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not Koba.
Well, you compare him to, like, Ursus, and, like, there's just no.
He's obviously not as advanced as Ursus, though. But I wish that he was at least more on Caesar's level. This is supposed to be the dude who fucking started the original revolution in the original timeline. You wish he lived up more to that reputation.
You gotta love his speech skills. Listen, I know guns. I'm the best at guns. We will get the guns.
To be fair as well, though, now that I'm thinking about it, he's also talking to his soldiers, who are probably far less advanced than he is. However, we also know from the beginning that he's not that smart anyway. The makeup isn't as jarringly inconsistent in this movie, though. Like, I'm not noticing a whole lot of masks in the background. Maybe that's going to be more prevalent later.
I think the secret is they don't put as many apes in a shot together as they did in the previous film, so there's really not as much need to have a bunch of bad masks running around. Just one of many budgetary cuts that were...
This does feel a bit more like a made-for-TV movie than an actual theatrical thing. It just doesn't have any sense of scope. It feels like it takes place over the course of, like, a mile, you know?
Yeah. Well,
like, it doesn't feel like there's any distance between Ape City and the Forbidden City.
It fails to do what the last movie did, which was convey a sense of scope and a sense of importance about the plot, despite the limited budget.
Like Dawn probably takes place in a lower, in a smaller geographic region than this does, and it feels like it has a bigger scale. I like that, because you can't just murder a child on screen, ape or human. I like what they do with it here, because it's still a brutal death. It's very dumb on all those parts. Like, there's so much room for this not to work. Like he could not die. He could be paralyzed. Any number of things.
He could, I don't know, jump to a different branch.
That too.
He could swing
Realistically,
away.
he should have just pushed him. Or strangled him, something.
He could have yelled much louder instead of just going, "Father!" He could have been like, "Dad, fucking help me!" Like he's partially to blame for his murder because he.
I mean, I don't disagree. I don't think he would disagree either. I just think he's bummed out about it. Is all I'm saying.
He was an idiot as much as Aldo was. Is the problem. Aldo got really fucking lucky too. He's got a great cover story. Caesar's gonna look in Cornelius's room and see that the squirrel got out.
That's a great shot.
And he's gonna think, oh, he went looking for the squirrel and he fell out of a tree and he died. All that just kind of fell into place.
This guy's literally just got like a Chevy. Oh my goodness, this heat is just dreadful. Ooh. I like the red goggles. I don't like that they're all just like really middle-aged fat white dudes. Like where are the warriors? Where are the well-toned like young dudes? I guess there are no young people left, because that would be interesting if they would explain it. Like there's no young people left because they're all like infertile.
Well, it's possible that, if they're infertile, then the mutants that we see in the future couldn't come to be. No, it's possible that some of them are much younger than they look on account of the radiation.
Yeah, but why aren't they getting more exercise? That's my question.
If they live in a partially submerged, destroyed city, there's not a whole lot of room for exercise.
You can make room. All right, light skin McDonald, let's chill. Oh my god, another human character? Jesus.
Settle down, movie.
What are the odds? A woman! Whoa. I don't know if I'm alright with this. Do they even have rights? No, I'm kidding.
Well, the humans barely have rights.
Can you imagine just like fucking... That's what fucking Caesar says, just like, humans, do they even have rights?
All I'm saying is we can't allow the human to vote.
Listen, Lisa, I know that you're very, very liberal, but okay, I think I need a little hair on my voters, okay?
Historical records show that when humans were allowed to vote, they elected Donald Trump. Now, we don't want that.
In an alternate universe.
No,
it's not an alternate universe. That is the Planet of the Apes timeline. That's the Planet of the Apes 2001 timeline. Okay, listen. This guy Thade, he's a loser. Okay, he's not gonna be able to stop me. All right. When the apes send us their apes, they're not sending us their best.
They are not sending us beautiful orangutans with their wonderful heads of hair. They are sending
Oh, well, look, there's one black guy. He looks a little in shape. Well, don't you just wish that somebody here would have done a push-up? Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they're all walking like, oh, it's so hot out here.
It's so dreadful out here, Dawn. I can't even breathe.
I really hope when we raid Ape City that we find some lighter fabrics.
Oh my god, they're dropping like fucking flies. You know, I know they're going for more of an original Planet of the Apes vibe, but I'm getting more of a Spaceballs vibe here. You find anything? No.
We ain't found shit.
We ain't found shit.
There goes the planet.
This dude is riding this motorcycle like shit. Oh! Oh, Margaret! Oh, Jesus. This is Spaceballs all of a sudden.
Oh dear, our army made up of whatever stagehands were available is not doing so well in the desert.
Now it's more like Indiana Jones 4. 3 I meant 3. That's a good one. Why are they communicating with, like, weird Italian gestures? They're doing, like, bro talk. Oh! This movie just got fucking awesome. We just watched 2 gorillas get blown up with a cannon. Like, that was pretty lit. Literally.
Good job. Now somebody bring me a fucking donut. Eat that shit, Harambe.
Harambe. How? No, alright, he would be dead. There's no feasible way that he would not be mush.
This is a prequel to the famous ape movie, Aldo, Get Your Gun.
That would be amazing. He's lost everything except his face. He's literally just a face now.
Nick Cage walks in, I want to take his face off.
Well, it's already done. That's all that's left of him.
Cool.
He just leaves.
Could eat a banana for hours.
Nick Cage would be a pretty great. I would either want him as Taylor or as Dr. Zaius.
Oh my god, you blew it up.
Which role do you think he would fuck up worse or better? I would rather see him as Zaius. Just do like a weird, like laid back, like hippie Zaius.
I want to take his brains out.
I could lobotomize mad for hours.
There are no men in the water.
Alright, listen. There's definitely no men in the water. They were talking about remaking Jaws in 2009, and he was their idea for Brody.
What was that ape and that human doing?
I didn't look. Oh, good. Yeah, don't let him do the manual labor that you don't want to do, and put him in the horse corral.
Look how much resistance these humans are putting up.
Well, I mean, they're also living in, like, rags anyway. I mean, Caesar's not treating them great. Meanwhile, McDonald's got, like, a fucking nice little outfit.
He's the house.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hilarious, isn't it?
He's the Sam Jackson in this situation.
A little bit, which is interesting. Oh, I forgot. I like that bit.
This has been the Republican caucus.
Mandamus, that's the guy's name. Unfortunately for him.
Guns!
What? That was a nice line where he goes, "I am the keeper of Caesar's army."
Although Mr. Calling, you should have, just let the kingdom run its course and become the head of the NRA.
I definitely think there's a better tactful way to go about this than murdering Caesar's son and then trying to steal guns.
Guns are his horses.
Guns!
if he went back in time, he'd be like, he'd be watching TV like, look at the guns.
Imagine Aldo watching like fucking there's like a Pawn Stars-esque show on now, but it's just about guns.
Imagine Aldo.
People just bring in like old guns, and they're just like, what gun is this? And they're just like, that's a P45 98 89 6S debris blower skull kisser.
This is a Uzi 9mm and a phase plasma rifle.
This is a quasar bolt gun.
Now imagine Aldo replacing Robert De Niro and Jackie Brown and sitting on the couch listening to Sam Jackson's presentation, foaming at the mouth.
Imagine him fucking that girl. Don't imagine that. That's bestiality, kids. That's not right. That ain't right.
She's just randomly like, hey, you want to fuck?
To Aldo.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I love when they finish, too, in that movie, because she's just like, that was fun. He's like, yeah, you got a beer?
Yeah. It's very awkward.
That wasn't the only time in that movie that he penetrated her.
Oh, shit. I don't like how they just keep walking into each other's houses. Like, there's no privacy in this world.
There wasn't in the original Planet of the Apes either, if you remember.
Yeah, but that was because they were, like, fucking living in, like, fucking fascist fucking Germany.
You think Zaius is any relation to Virgil?
I don't know if we ever get to Zaius in this timeline. Well, it depends on what... Maybe.
Well, if our theory about the TV show taking place in the Caesar timeline is correct, then yes, there is a version of Zaius.
Maybe.
Oh, he's not dead. Dying.
What? I
he...
fucking knew Aldo was a fucking dumb fuck-up. Well, I already knew that, but I know it even more now. Why isn't he just like, Aldo killed me, Dad. I fucking saw it. I'm not an idiot. He only thinks to ask him this now. Maybe he's too injured to speak. That's possible.
There are only two races at this point, Caesar. If he said the humans didn't do it, then who the fuck do you think did it? Fucking Sgt. Pepper and his Lonely Hearts Club Band? No.
Yeah, do you really think Paul Simon murdered your son?
It was clearly an ape.
It was Neil Diamond. Sweet Caroline, ba ba ba.
I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious unless there was like some...
I murdered Caesar's son.
It couldn't be any more obvious unless there was like some CSI apes on the scene and they were like, there's gorilla hair over here on the ground, and then Caesar would be all like, but who did it?
I would like it if they did like a fucking CSI Apes. I mean, the problem is there's no crime in the apes world. I mean, there's probably crime, but there's no like this chimpanzee was fucking raped and murdered. There's nothing like that, you know?
You know, there's got to be at some point during the apes timeline some like messed up apes who just like fucking humans.
Sure. Well, there was supposed to be a hybrid of human and ape in Beneath. We talked about that.
There was recently a guy in North Carolina caught having sex with a pig, and they had to...
Yeah, you shared that on your timeline, and I was like, thanks, D. Thanks for that.
I shared? Did I share that?
Yeah.
No, I commented on it, is what I did.
Oh, well, I saw it, and I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it was a funny situation because he got stuck.
It was funny. It was a funny situation, I bet. You know what? D, I think I saved it for... Oh, we'll talk about it.
He got fucking stuck. Did you happen to see what my comment on it was?
No.
I said, I'll never look at glazed ham the same way again.
Oh, God. Brilliant. You are quite the wordsmith, you cheeky little bitch.
So anyway, Battle from the Planet of the Apes.
That's a good
movie
shot.
in which a movie in which men do not fuck pigs, but instead attempt to fuck over the apes.
Figuratively, and then maybe physically. We'll see. Yeah, why hasn't Caesar been, like, Caesaring? He should have been.
That was a nice cut. What do you know? That's what I know.
Caesar's like, oh, fuck. I wish he said that. That would have been, oh, fuck me. I didn't have a delay.
You locked up my house, human.
Who's gonna make my fucking coffee now?
I'd love to see a Planet of the Apes version of Blazing Saddles.
The sheriff is a human.
That was very, like, awkwardly timed. Like, Caesar's like, I'm people, I love them, and they're like, we're being attacked right now, you dickhead.
Fucking Mel Brooks as Zaius being like,
Are you crazy? Can't you see that man is a human?
I do like the red goggles. They look cool.
you know, really, I don't believe that the apes win this battle because they get ambushed. They don't really see it coming. The enemy has fucking heavy artillery and a school bus.
Yeah, without presumably the magic school bus. Ride on the magic school bus. Ride on.
What were they hoping to accomplish by taking a school bus into battle? They didn't even mount any weapons on it.
Presumably, there's people and supplies on it.
Like if they had modified the school bus.
Yeah, take your basket and your sacks and beat them with it.
That's what they should have done. They should have modified the school bus. They should have attached a fucking mortar thing to the top of it. Maybe have some people leaning out the windows with guns. But it's just a school bus.
I think that the director did as good a job as he could.
Everybody guard the school bus.
Making it feel like it's a big battle, even though it really is like 20 people. Like that's pretty impressive. It's more when you see the mutants, because you're like, there's clearly not a lot of them.
Imagine if this is how human children had to get to school every day in the Planet of the Apes.
Running through gunfire. So I get to school every day, man. No, I don't go to school anymore.
Fucking armed convoy.
Look at fucking Virgil. He's like, oh god, man. It's like fucking the D-Day scene in Saving Private Ryan. Fucking people's intestines being blown out and shit. Fucking Virgil just running through. Paul Simon.
Yeah, they're constructing this barricade very, very quickly.
And badly, might I add.
My God, they're building a barricade out of wood. Has anybody got a match?
Oh my God.
Oh, I was right. Look at their fabrics. They look so breezy.
We're gonna be so comfortable. Just you wait. Thanks, Virgil. We really appreciate the observation. Hey, Caesar, did you know we're under attack? Oh, fuck me, really?
I like that my version of a mutant soldier in this movie is essentially Harvey Fierstein.
Harvey Fierstein is Culp. He's in command of all the mutants. He's like, oh God, David,
Come on, David.
how are you gonna stop the aliens?
Come on, David. We gotta kill the ape.
David, don't you just agree with me that every fucking ape on the planet should die? That's my personal belief. That's my strict ethnic purification desire.
I gotta call my doctor. I gotta call my lawyer. Nah, forget about my lawyer.
You sound more like his dad in that movie now. David, since you are a boy, you are a piece of shit, and I hate you.
I look like a schlemiel. I don't know what a schlemiel is, but I buy it.
I presume it's a bad thing.
I don't speak Jew.
See, I don't see how the apes don't automatically win this fight, but just running up to them and punching these dumb old white men in the face.
Well, if they try to just run up, they'll get shot in the face.
Not if they're fast. They need to be fast, and gotta have enough forces to be cannon fodder.
Oh my God, David! We're gonna put an end to this monkey business.
Did you think that was funny, David? I thought that was funny. Oh God, man! Oh shit! Oh fuck me! I just want to keep doing I just want to keep doing Virgil's internal monologue as he just runs through the war.
Culp's brother's there, played by Robin Williams. Culp, will you make me a woman?
Oh, honey, I'm so happy. Oh, fuck! I shot him, man! Oh, God! Oh, God! That was my house.
Caesar,
oh, shit, there's a fucking dead chimpanzee right there. Fuck me.
Caesar, our village has caught a bad case of the explosions.
Caesar, there's literally nothing left. Like, we're so done.
I like how when they were in the desert, it looked like half of his army was dead, but now that they're at Ape City, they seem to have come back to life magically.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have a lot to begin with, so they really needed the numbers to at least look like an army.
Well, then they should have had them dropping dead in the desert.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have taken, like, 55-year-old white men, you know? I think they should have taken some strong... I mean, they could have had some white men, but they should have been young, strong, fit.
Yes, strapping young white men who are not me.
I mean, there could have been any race, but just not 58 and fucking 300 pounds. Why haven't they, like, buried him yet? They probably should do that.
I've always said I would never be a hippie unless they brought back the draft. And I'd be like, hey, man.
Hey, man. Listen, man. So, like, if we have to join the army, can we get, like, free shit? Like, free clothes and stuff? No. Oh, man.
Listen, man, if this is dog food, what do I give my dog, man? I'm going to Canada, man. Got free healthcare anyway.
All right, so we won. So good for us. Now, I guess we go have some Cheetos, right?
Is this over, David?
All right. Drop me off right here, and I will walk the rest of the way. Oh God, I've walked too far already. Oh, I remember what happens here. This is pretty cool. Well, if it isn't the little monkey shines. Weakened. We will all be 58-year-old overweight men. Strictly that will be allowed in our society. We will give birth to 58-year-old men who are 300 pounds as well. We'll figure it out along the way. She looks kind of like Alicia Silverstone. You expect her to break into the Batcave in any minute. Look at his little collar. He looks like Doctor Strange. Where is the cloak of levitation? Shoot her! Shoot her! Why do these people just talk? Now your Cadillac's wrecked. There's that great line. I love this part. Yeah,
And they-
see, this was a clever plan. They drew them in, and now they can beat the shit out of them. Listen, guys, can we talk about... Oh, God. That was my spleen.
Oh, damn it, I just wanted nicer fabrics.
I'm telling you... I'm telling you, man, I think that this does a rather solid job, given the resources, of making this look like a bunch of apes and people. See, that's why they needed the school bus, so they could all fucking run afterwards. Nah, bro, you really should just kill him, realistically.
Need more slave labor.
Guys, don't let me be late. I'm fucked up, man! The fighting's taken over my soul, bro! Don't touch me, man. I might take your head off. I still got the bloodlust. Hey guys, this is probably why we should have cleaned the windows. Well, I guess that takes care of that. Oh God. Yeah, good.
Yeah, they totally...
That would have
totally
blown up the entire thing. What are you doing? That was a little bit of overkill, buddy. Good old-fashioned purple jumpsuited overkill.
I mean, look, I've played Star Wars Battlefront. I know that grenades can be fun.
Oh, wow, that's pretty brutal. There would be so much blood everywhere. See if this was a real thing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness, I've been murdered! I imagine him as like a Dr. Smith type from Lost in Space.
Now who will build my Legion of Spiders?
More like the TV show, but yeah. He'd probably have a legion of spiders. Alright, listen guys, unless you're trying to raise King Caesar from the fucking rocks in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, you should chill with the chanting. That would have been preferable to that girl singing, though, had she just shouted Hail Caesar over and over again.
The apes have discovered their favorite salad.
That orangutan in the foreground is way too into it. Alright, anybody who's a 70s musician, step forward. I think he means you, Caesar. Uh-huh.
You a human lover?
Why don't you just marry them then?
Damn it, Aldo, have you forgotten your lessons? Abe shall not kill Abe. Whatever you want to do with the rest of these guys, I don't care. But,
Yeah, dude, Abe
not
is safe. He's sacred.
Kill them all, except Abe.
Caesar, either give them some differently colored clothes or just let them gun them down, because they look like shit. They look like the clothes that you get in art class when they're like, oh, here's like a smock to put on over your shirt. Ape has never killed Abe.
Abe has never, let alone an Abe child.
This is probably the best scene in the movie, right? The eyes on Aldo are really great. That was a really great look on Caesar's face. Like, he looked like he was ready for blood. That's some good acting there.
Roddy McDowell loves his blinging.
This is a really good bit, as we say in the biz. Oh, I imagine just like that kind of music in the background. That was a good bit as well. They just joined the human race because ape has killed ape. That was a good bit as well. I don't know, man. This is a good movie. I don't know what people... They should stop bitching.
It's good. It's just the second least good. Or no, the least good out of the first 5.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way it breaks down. It's sort of bad by default, because all the other ones are better.
Ape has killed ape. Oh, give it a rest, ape. You're safe.
Seriously, stop with the stupid pun. It's not funny.
I'm trying to be funny. Trying to save my ass.
I love how that's his voice now. I'm trying to save my ass!
Can't keep a good ape down.
I would love it if Peter Griffin was the teacher of the apes in this movie. All right, listen, Lois, you gotta ape can't kill ape, so you can't you don't really grind my gears when an ape tries to kill an ape. All right.
Abe, why are you talking like that all of a sudden? I'm from Shanghai. Chinese is a motherfucker.
I'm Chinese as a motherfucker.
Although I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to consider getting rid of Abe, because this is getting ridiculous.
The puns are out of hand.
Also, he's ripping off Louis C.K. bits out of context. It's not working.
Louis C.K. never even had a career in this timeline. That's how fucked up it is.
Although you're bigger than him.
Yeah, he really shouldn't be scared because, like, Caesar didn't take a gun. Like, realistically, Caesar just should have shot him or hung him or had all the other apes overwhelm him, as opposed to climbing this tree for a while. This is maybe not great. Like, the fact that they're just, like, climbing this tree. It kind of deflates all the tension. Maybe it creates more tension. I don't know. I don't know how to make movies.
It's all kind of strangely paced, I think.
Yeah, this movie is definitely strangely paced. The story isn't great, but it's got a lot of great scenes in it. That's another way I think you can kind of break it down. You killed my son!
You killed my father, prepare to die.
No, his father was killed by a fucking French dude.
My name is Cesar Montoya.
Yeah, they don't have last names in the ape world, do they?
Although you shit tier Ursus.
Aw, fuck.
Forgive the expression, Caesar, but ape just murdered a bunch of ape.
I feel like somebody in the distant future will also say that about an ape murdering a bunch of apes. Alright, y'all, so listen, here's the skizzy. I know I fucked up, but you know what? I'll be mad ugly too, so fuck you. Don't give me that fucking look, Abe. I know what you're thinking. This is another good bit. Fucking Virgil coming at Caesar with the logic and clarity. Especially with all the slavery. The slavery was the best part.
Ha! King me, bitch.
I want a whole series about these two.
Playing chess.
Yes. Great. That's awesome.
Ouch.
This is a great bit. Oh, I forgot about this. You know that Charlton Heston is the only one who can launch this thing. Oh. Alright, so they do know. Lady, it's not time for everybody to die yet, so listen to the man. I like that Culp wanted to take the whole world with him, though. He definitely knew what the deal with the bomb was.
I like Mendez is certainly like fucking mutant Jesus. He's just like...
Will you give me a reach around? Ooh, that's a great shot. We still wait, my children. That's also a great reveal that we're in a different world where the lawgiver is talking to apes and humans.
Lawgiver, why doesn't your mouth close all the way?
Never mind that.
Oh, wow. The humans are still in rags. I think this probably went the same way as the original time. Or, I mean, again, it could be the TV show, but, I mean, the point is, things went bad for the people eventually. As that tier probably indicates. So, So this is the end of the series, obviously. Or was intended to be.
The classic 5 movies are over. We have...
What do you think of that as an ending image, though? I mean, obviously all the movies have a very iconic and definitive ending that kind of hits you home. This one definitely goes for it with the imagery, but what do you think it means, though?
Well, that's the thing with the ending of this movie. It's certainly the most ambiguous, isn't it?
It's not. It's certainly less. It's more ambiguous than Mama and seeing the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, or the Earth blowing up.
But how do you interpret it, though? I mean, obviously, it can be interpreted any number of ways. As Caesar knows that things aren't going to go well for the humans. Caesar knows things aren't going to go well for the apes. Maybe it's a tear of joy that things have gone well and that everybody's living in peace. But where do you stand on it?
Maybe it's a dewdrop running down the front of a statue. No, I think I tend to buy into the idea that further along in this timeline, trouble is going to rear its head again, be it from the mutants or be it from the apes and the humans not getting along again. And I think that's what it means. It's a happy ending, but at the same time, it's
yeah. I think it's got just as dystopian implications as all the other endings, where it's like things are secure enough for now, but darkness is on the horizon. It's almost like the ending of the first Terminator, where it's like there's a storm coming, and you see the storm.
Mm-hmm. A bit more ambiguous than even that, though.
Well, certainly. I mean, that's not ambiguous at all.
At the end of Terminator, we know what the storm represents. We've been told about it in great
detail. But it's very dystopian, is what I'm saying, and that's the little oomph that you get with the Planet of the Apes movie. And I think that the ambiguity of it is cool because it's supposed to be the end. And I think that that's awesome that they were still able to give it that feeling despite trying to go for this happy ending.
Right.
So Dylan, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, final thoughts.
Again, I like the movie. I just think it's the least of the original five. It's ultimately its biggest problem is that it's a tad underwhelming and kind of forgettable. But I like certain things about it. I really like Virgil. I like the world that we see, the sort of in between the world that we know and the world that we saw.
It's a mixed bag for me. I like things about it. I don't like things about it. I don't like that they're all in the outfits that are in the future. I don't think that makes any sense.
No.
I like Ape City. I like the Forbidden City. I like the mutants look. I like the red goggles. I don't like that they're all middle-aged white men, as we established. They all should have done some push-ups before they raided Ape City. But overall, I think this one's biggest problem is that it doesn't have that feeling that all the other ones have, where it's like there's constantly some new problem being brought up. There's usually something interesting or funny or compelling being shown, but there's no sense of like we're being propelled forward by some kind of conflict,
Yes,
this one's all kind of up in the air.
And I don't think it has the one other thing that all of the other movies had in droves, to varying degrees, which is the other movies were all pretty well paced. This one, I don't know, felt a little bit more meandering at points.
I totally agree, and I think that that's just chalked up to there's not a clear direction for the story, Like, it's just kind of like, well, we did this, now this is happening.
Indeed.
There's a lot of breathing room in this, And they think that they're going to fill it up with all this, like, political intrigue, but it doesn't really... It's not... We don't get enough into it. It's not developed enough. Although, in particular, I just don't think gets enough to do, is another big problem with it.
I think there's a little bit of a similar problem in Beneath.
Yeah, I think that there are definitely things that there's a lot you can compare there.
Getting what's his face to the Forbidden City takes a bit, and then once he gets there and meets the mutants, it moves along at a much better pace.
I think it's really good up until they're in the desert, and then when they're down in the basement, it feels like a different movie.
Yeah.
And then I like the stuff with the mutants. I don't like how, like, whiny they are. They're like, "Oh, Caesar." We've been making fun of that, obviously, but all in all, it's still a good movie. I still enjoy it. It's still mostly well made. The production budget and everything and the resources are obviously limited, but given that, it's still an incredible achievement. And I still think it's quite a bit of fun. And it's you need it. They couldn't just end on conquest. They had to connect the dots between the past and the future. So this is definitely a thing that needed to be made, and I think it's mostly effective at what it sets out to do. I wonder
if the pacing problem is less so in the theatrical cut.
That's possible. Yeah, but you and I were like going, when the hell did they add this in? So I think that I definitely have seen the theatrical cut, because there was stuff in this that I was like, don't remember that.
Well, I don't remember there being so much stock footage.
Yeah, I think that could have been it, yeah.
And maybe there was, and I just don't remember it, because again,
Why would they add that?
This is not one that I revisit quite often, so maybe it was there. But I just don't recall it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's weird shit. I'm gonna rate this one differently than all the other ones. I think that this is just as good as Ghostbusters 2. I think that that's the best way to describe it. Like, Ghostbusters 2 is the perfect middle of the road movie. It's kind of technically a bad movie, but it's a lot of fun. I think that this is a good example of, there's a lot of really interesting stuff being told and shown, but man, there's no precipice for a story here. There's too much relying on stuff we saw in other movies. Not into it in those regards. So I think it's just as good as Ghostbusters 2.
Well, I'll go out on a limb and say that I think this movie is just A-okay.
I think this movie is just dandy. This movie is just all right with me.
Indeed.
Well, all right then. I'm glad we established that. So, Dylan, as you said, that's it for the classic Apes movies. We've commentated on all of them. Any reflections in hindsight before we move on to some other stuff?
I mean, just the classic series, man. This is Planet of the Apes to me. I like the new movies. I like what they're doing. But at the end of the day, the original timeline, starting with Charlton Heston, that's my Apes.
Yeah, they do feel like a bit of a different thing now, don't they?
A bit.
Yeah, and I think it's more than just the special effects. I mean, it's a different kind of story as well. But I imagine that will change as we get closer to this type of it, where it's a full world of apes established and everything. Obviously we're not to the Planet of the Apes yet in the new series.
I hope they do continue to go until they can get to that point.
I don't see why they wouldn't. They're making plenty of money.
Yeah, and from the looks of War, having not actually seen the film yet, it looks like we've got one hell of a new Apes trilogy on our hands already. So,
yeah. Well, I think that the only difference between that and then what they'll do next is that the next one won't have Andy Serkis in it. I think that's going to be the only difference.
Right, and I think we'll probably do a bit of a time skip.
I hope so. I think that the first. Do you think first movie they do will be the astronauts? Like, because they set that up in 2011. They have to do something with that.
They did. Yeah, and as long as it's not Marky Mark, I think I'll.
Yeah, certainly. Or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I know you're not on board for that either.
No.
Yeah, I thought about that. That doesn't work because he's too much of a monster. Like, it's like there's no way the apes are going to be able to stop him. There was one casting choice we said that night, and I think that whatever that was good enough.
Nick Cage? Nah.
No, just not that one.
If
we said Michael Fassbender, that works. Michael Fassbender.
Well, he's my casting choice for anything.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He plopped anything and it works. I don't know.
He might be my favorite actor working at the moment. I'm not sure. Young actor, anyway. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to take some time off. He's in everything, and I'm a little sick of him.
Yeah, no, I think that he would agree with you. So Dwayne The Rock Johnson aside, Planet of the Apes, it's a wild ride, and it's going to continue as we get into the next element that we have to talk about of Apes.
Indeed. You want to talk about a mixed bag? Join us next time for a movie that could have been a super interesting reboot of the Planet of the Apes franchise, but floundered.
We talk
in
about a
2000
movie that I don't like very much at all.
with 2001's Planet of the Apes, directed by Mr. Tim Burton of Batman fame.
We hope you'll join us. We won't blame you if you don't, but we hope you'll join us. No, it's going to be an interesting one. So definitely stick around, because Dylan likes this movie more than me. So it'll definitely be a lot of like, oh, I think that's interesting, and then I'll be like, it's fucking bullshit. All of it. So that'll be fun. We hope you'll join us as we continue to talk apes. Until then, I'm Bill Worcester, aka Zazubaar.
I'm Super DM 64.
It's a madhouse. A madhouse.